Hello, welcome to your first video tutorial. Today we're going to be looking at Photoshop and cutting out this destroyer picture, the destroyer robot from the Thor movies. Alright, so let's crack on. Click on Photoshop, blue one there, PS. You'll be on a PC, so things might look a little bit different. And here we are. Looks kind of scary to begin with. We've got surrounded by all sides with madness, but don't worry, things will become clearer with time, my friends. So let's just jump in and follow me. File, open. Let's open that file up. And mine's on the desktop. Yours might be on a different place. Destroyer. There it is. Click open. Ta-da! Brill. So at the moment we've got this window flowing around, so what we do, if we hold it just above here, we'll get a blue outline, and if we let go of our mouse, we'll see that it snaps into Photoshop itself, and that keeps things a little bit more stable. Alright, so pen tool is here, this little fountain pen, okay, and the shortcut for that is P. Alright, so it's a really good one to remember. Press P and it will jump to it, okay? So now we're going to just jump straight in and start cutting around these lines. So before we do that, we want to zoom in, and this is another really handy shortcut. So we're going to hold down the space bar and the control button together, and we'll get up this magnifying glass. And then if we click in the area we want to look at, you can see that we can zoom in. And if we go too far, we can hold down, we'll keep all our fingers hold down and add the Alt key, so space, control, Alt, and we can zoom back out again. Alright, so if you're going too far, I find it's a bit kind of ugly because you can see all these pixels and it's hard to look for stuff, so I kind of keep it one step back. And then we can move around. When we're going to be cutting around, we're going to move around and we're going to use the space bar, so we hold down the space and we've got this little hand tool and we can work our way around. So this is really, really nice when we're doing close-up work. Do not try and cut anything out like this because it's just too awkward. Alright? So zoom in, start remembering these shortcuts and it all will be good. There we are. Okay, so away we go. The pen tool takes a little while to get used to, but it's really, really good. And we're gonna just click and drag our way around. And the reason I want you to use this is because it's a really important tool. It's used in After Effects, in Illustrator, in Premiere, so it's a really important. It takes it's a pain at the bum to start using, but once you get into it, you won't think anything of it. So it's just, yeah, it's difficult, but it's worth it. So the principle, how am I doing this? I'm gonna just click and drag. So click and drag. And if it's a straight line, we can just click. So we've got this spike here, so I can click up the top and essentially click down the bottom. And there's a little round edge here, so I'm going to just go round the curve and I'm going to click ahead and drag round. Up, I can do the same here. So instead of clicking at the top, I can just go over the bump, click and drag around the bump. So it's up to you kind of how detailed you go, but the more detail you go, the better your end result will look. Alright, so I'm getting towards the edge of my screen, so I hold down the space bar and I drag it down again. Okay, so click and drag, click up there, click. Alright, click and drag around that curve up to the top, down, click around there a little bit. Alright, so this robot is an excellent beginning tool or beginning project because there's so many little bits and bobs to get your hand around, to get the hang of. So I'm going to move up with the space bar and click my way around. Okay, you will probably be a little bit frustrated and you won't be able to get the exact edge you want. I remember when I first started it was an absolute nightmare, so I do appreciate it if you're struggling, but in time you will very quickly get the hang of it. Alright, so bear with me. And you can see here, because obviously it's not the highest quality detail image, we've got some pixelation here, so don't stress too much about that, because by the time we zoom out again, no one's going to see how accurate you've been. So as long as you're fairly close to the grey area, things are going to be alright. Okay, so again we're just clicking, dragging around the curves, and click, click. Alright, so I'm going to shut up for a bit and maybe speed up the video at this point so we can just get round to the other side. But before I do that, here we are, here's a good example. I've gone a little bit too high, so I'm going to just step backwards, and the one step is Control and Z, and that will undo, and if we press Control and Z again, it will redo, so we can undo a mistake. And if we want to go back several steps, we hold Control, Alt and Z, and then we can go back more steps. So that's another super handy shortcut. So I'm just going to redo that and go a little bit lower this time. That's still a bit, let's go a little bit lower. There, that's better. Happy with that. Alright, so now I'm just going to complete the rest of the destroyer, and I'll see you in a second. Right, so here we are, we've reached the end of the picture, so I'm just going to have a nice edge there and go underneath the picture, and then I'm going to go around here. We can see there's a little bit there that I can cut out, so let's just join up and go underneath the picture again, move past, and we've got another little bit, so click there and just come up into the picture like so. Click nicely around there. Right, so when we finished our path, we just move the pen over and we see that little circle. Okay, click on there, and then we complete the whole thing, which is really, really important. Otherwise we won't complete it and we won't be able to make a proper selection. Alright, so here's our layer here, and we'll worry about that in a second. You can, hopefully you'll see there is a paths tab, so it should be on this. If it's not, we can go up to Window and Paths, okay, and that's where you'll find it. Okay, and you can see here on the path that it's a mini representation of this piece, and that I've cut out the shape of the destroyer. Okay, and because we're going to use this path maybe a couple more times, I'm going to double click on it, and I'm going to call that destroyer and click OK. And then it's kind of, Photoshop has saved that as an official path which we can use later if we need to, and that's kind of handy. So then what we're going to do, we're going to right click on it, so control click or right click on your mouse and make a selection. Right, and we'll get this box up here and going to make a new selection, and we're not going to feather it, which means kind of we're going to get a smooth edge. We're just going to have a 0 pixel feather at the moment. Sometimes we need to feather, but we'll worry about that and look at that in future movies. So we're just going to click OK, and then you can see we get this nice selection, and then we can go back to our layers, and you can see we've only got one layer at the moment. So now if I edit, copy, and edit, paste, watch what happens over at the new layer in the layer window. Okay, we've pasted from this one, we've pasted the new selection on. So if I hide the layer underneath, you can now see we've got this nice clean cutout object which we can now take into other documents and continue working. Good work. Before we do anything, let's file and save, and let's call that destroyer cut out. And because it's layers, it's not a PNG anymore because we've got more than one layer in there, it should be a Photoshop file, and that the shortcut is that for the extension of that is PSD. Okay, so just save that onto your desktop, and don't worry about this box, just saying compatible with older and newer versions, etc., and click OK. Well done.